Just over a week ago, we reported on a situation with VTuber Yozoro Mel, a very unfortunate situation. If you don't remember, or if you didn't see the first video, I will give you a very brief recap right now. I'm also going to edit in a timestamp, should be right here. If you want to skip the recap, just some bullet points here that we'll go over really quick. And if you want to see the full first video, link in the description. So TLDR of the situation, the information we originally had. Mel received an email right before her 3D birthday stream on October 31st, 2019, including lots of hurtful remarks and defamatory statements. The name of the sender was someone close to Mel. She then consulted with the police and the CEO of Corp. It wasn't clear if the sender was really the person whose name was in the email or if they were just pretending to be that person. Police advised her not to go to the studio for the 3D birthday stream. She canceled the stream, but the police seemed to have nothing further to do at that point. Mel felt a lack of support from some of the people who knew about the situation and should have supported her, causing her to feel physically and mentally exhausted. Her friend introduced her to a lawyer. With that lawyer, they then found that the sender of the email was indeed the person who they were claiming to be. They were also responsible for multiple defamatory accounts on Twitter as well. They also admitted to this and decided to settle out of court. Mel then decided to go on a hiatus, but luckily it sounds like by March 2020, the matter was well on its way to being resolved. She then wanted to thank her supporters. She thanks them for all the kind words and the fan art and the tweets. She was unsure about sharing the situation, but she didn't want any other Hololive members to go through a similar thing, so she decided to speak out on it, which I would love to say. Round of applause for Mel. Thank you for doing that. Also, she says, please don't speculate or add details beyond what is said in the report. And finally, Mel continues to love everyone in Hololive and would like to return to having fun streaming, which I think we can all agree we would love to see Mel get back to streaming. So thank you all for your patience with the recap, unless you clicked it and skipped it. But if you clicked it and skipped it, thank you for, utilizing the timestamp. I appreciate that. Let me also just say this, the same thing I've said before when we're dealing with translations. Please understand that I don't speak or read Japanese. So we have to make our own opinion on these translations if you think they're accurate or not. As I said in the first video, I compared the statements, the translated statements, to other versions of the translated statements, and they all seem to match up pretty well. So to me, that gave us a pretty good sample size. But at the end of the day, you'll have to decide on your own if you think these translations are accurate or not. That also does make it a bit difficult for me to report on these topics because I don't want to give bad information, and relying on translators that I'm not personally in touch with makes me a bit nervous. That said, I did send this translation of the upcoming statement to a buddy of mine. They have not gotten back to me yet, but if there is any issues with what I'm reading in this video compared to what they tell me when they get back to me, which much appreciated, my friend, thank you for taking a look at that, then I will edit a pinned comment and clarify whatever that difference may be. With that said, thank you again for your patience. Let's get into the new information. May 24th, Corp released this statement in this tweet. It has over 7,800 retweets, over 11,300 likes. The problem I have here is that their statement seems to be, if you're not audio only, you can see the statement is an image or something. I can't actually click it, meaning I can't copy paste this text into different online translators to compare them. We do have a Twitter user who was generous enough to provide a rough translation of this, but as usual, I would like to use different translations and compare them against sample sizes. Not able to do that with this, however. So here is the rough translation tweet from Zeroblade. Zeroblade, thank you for providing this information. So here is the super TLDR, and then we'll take a look at the actual rough translation that they posted. Super TLDR version says, basically, it was implied that staff, possibly Mel's manager, was the one involved in the harassment, hence her feeling of betrayal and the lack of proper support from the company. Cover is now dealing with it externally and internally. So that is absolutely terrifying. This was already a very scary situation, but it seemed, at least the impression I got from the statement at first, was maybe it was a friend or family member that might have taken umbrage with Mel's success. For it to actually be someone at Hololive or Corp, that is extraordinarily difficult to deal with, I imagine. Now, Mel said that she doesn't want people speculating on anything aside from the official report. So I hope we're listening to her by doing this. This is information that came from the report, so I think that's okay. If we're talking about what she actually said, that's different than coming up with some wild speculation. We're just trying to understand her statement here. So I really hope that There's no issues with us just trying to get the news and understand what's going on. Okay, and here is Zero's rough unofficial translation, not the TLDR version. Zero says, Cover Corps has released a statement regarding the harassment incident with Yozoro Mel. They apologized for and are reviewing policies regarding not keeping better watch over their talent, not resolving the situation faster, not reporting matters more quickly, letting the problem happen even when the perpetrator was in a position of knowing what they were doing. Man, see, that's where, like, don't get me wrong. It's terrifying and terrible if it was family or friends too, absolutely. But for it to be someone at her place of employment as well, a job that she seems to really enjoy doing, I mean, that's so tough. That's part of why some people don't speak out with things like this, because they don't want to lose the job or, upset people who have power over them. So in the workplace, if you're dealing with someone who has a position of power over you, what a mess, man. What a mess. I really feel for her. I'm sure we all do. Says, coercing Mel to continue streaming despite the current situation. They are reviewing various company policies, communication screening into protection, care for the talent, and also reassigning staff. They have paid for Mel's legal fees and cost of relocation. They will also be more stringent in monitoring talents, staff, and business partners, along with very strongly worded announcement back in May 15th, legal recourse versus streamer harassment. They apologized again for the late and lacking response to this incident and promised to do better for the streamers. Oh, let me scroll a little bit for you guys there. Sorry about that. One moment. It's my screen capture. There you go. Okay. They apologized again for the late and lacking response to the incident and promised to do better for the streamers so that an incident like this will not happen again. So thank you again, Zero, for that translation. Again, I also sent their statement to a friend of mine. Hopefully they get back, and if there's any differences in that, I will leave a pinned comment clarifying whatever that may be. And that's it for this one, guys. I have nothing I can really add, so we'll just wrap it up here. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for supporting Mel through this situation. Again, hopefully we see her returning to streaming soon and she has fun, and hopefully these changes work out the best for Hololive and everyone involved, all the staffers. Hopefully things work out for the best. I have no shout outs because the last video just came out about an hour ago. Thank you for tuning in though again, and I'll catch you all next time.